You know, we hear about these landmark court rulings all the time, but have you ever wondered how they're actually made? Today, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to dissect the anatomy of a really pivotal Supreme Court judgment, piece by piece, to understand how evidence, arguments, and the law itself all come together to shape what we call justice.
Right from the get-go, this powerful line from the judgment itself kind of sets the stage. The court was saying, look, this isn't just another case file. This was a moment of national reflection about safety, about dignity, and really about the fabric of our society. It's a reminder that the law doesn't operate in a vacuum. It responds to the very soul of a community.
So our goal here is to really get into the how and the why. How did the court sift through all this incredibly complex evidence? How were the legal arguments from both sides put under the microscope? We're peeling back the layers on the meticulous, step-by-step process of legal reasoning that leads to a final judgment.
All right, so every conviction has to stand on a solid foundation. And for the prosecution, that foundation is built from what you can think of as pillars of evidence. Each one has to be tested for its strength and reliability. So let's take a look at the key pillars that were used in this case.
Okay, so a central, incredibly powerful piece of evidence was the victim's dying declarations. Now, the court gave immense weight to these statements. It found 3 separate declarations to be consistent, true, and voluntary. In one of them, she actually wrote the names of the accused in her own handwriting. I mean, that is just an unbelievably powerful and direct account from someone the law presumes has absolutely no reason to lie.
The prosecution also brought in some pretty cutting-edge science. Forensic odontology, which is basically bite mark analysis, played a huge role here. By comparing bite marks found on the victim with the dental models of the suspects, forensic experts were able to link specific individuals to the assault. This added a whole other layer of scientific certainty to the case.
But here's the thing. This case wasn't just built on 1 or 2 pieces of evidence. The prosecution was incredibly methodical. They constructed what the law calls a chain of circumstances by linking an eyewitness's testimony with DNA evidence, identification parades, CCTV footage, and recovered items. See how each piece supports the others? It creates this powerful, interconnected web of proof that's really hard to argue with.
And this is how it all starts to come together. You've got multiple, independent scientific methods, and they all point to the accused. The dying declarations implicated everyone. The bite marks pointed to specific individuals. The DNA linked multiple accused to both the victim and the scene. And then you have palm prints in the bus matching another. It's a really compelling convergence of evidence from all these different angles.
So the prosecution's case sounds pretty solid, right? But of course, it didn't go unchallenged. The defense raised some critical legal questions which forced the court to carefully examine the letter of the law. And this is where the legal reasoning gets truly fascinating.
So here's the central question the court had to deal with. It's a fundamental principle of our law designed to protect people from being forced into a confession. But what happens when a statement that's made to the police actually leads to the discovery of crucial evidence like a hidden weapon or stolen property?
This is the crucial distinction you need to understand. Sections 25 and 26 of the Evidence Act say that a pure confession made to a cop is inadmissible. It's to prevent coercion. But, and this is a big but, Section 27 creates a vital exception. If an accused says, "I hid the victim's phone under the bridge," and then the police go and find it right there, the part of the statement that led to that discovery is admissible. Why? Because the discovery itself basically confirms that that specific piece of information was true.
And the court doesn't just apply this exception lightly. Oh no. There's a rigorous 4-part test. The information has to come from an accused person who is already in police custody. It has to directly lead to the discovery of a new fact. And this part is key. Only the tiny portion of the statement that distinctly relates to that discovery can be used. It's a surgical tool, not a blanket permission slip.
The defense also went after inconsistencies in what the witnesses said, but the court offered this very human, very wise insight. People aren't tape recorders. Minor variations in a story can be natural. Sometimes they're even a sign of a truthful, unrehearsed memory. Think about it. A story that's too perfect can actually be more suspicious. The court's job is to focus on the core of the testimony, not tiny, trivial details.
Okay, so once the conviction was established, the trial moved into its final and most solemn phase, sentencing. This stage, it involves some of the most profound legal and moral questions you can imagine, especially when the death penalty is on the table.
Our law is very, very clear on this. Life imprisonment is the rule, and the death penalty is the exception. To impose it, a court has to provide special reasons, and it has to write them down. This isn't just some procedural thing, it's a critical safeguard to make sure that the ultimate punishment is reserved for only the rarest of rare cases.
So, to figure out if this case met that high standard, the court created what's often called a balance sheet. It's a fascinating concept. On one side, you have the aggravating circumstances, all the factors that make the crime exceptionally horrible. And on the other side, you have the mitigating circumstances, things related to the accused background, like poverty, their young age, or not having a prior record. The court literally has to weigh these two sides against each other.
And this weighing process, it's not simple math. It's a deep philosophical exercise. The court has to ask itself, what is the purpose of this sentence? Is it just about this one person, or does it serve a wider societal purpose? And this quote tells us exactly what the court was thinking, that the sentence must reflect the public abhorrence of the crime, and in doing so, reinforce everyone's faith in the rule of law.
So, after carefully weighing everything on that balance sheet, the court reached its conclusion. It found that the sheer brutality of the crime, its diabolical nature, and the massive impact it had on the collective conscience of the nation, all of that was so overwhelming that it heavily outweighed the mitigating factors that the defense presented. The scales of justice tipped decisively.
And in its final pages, the judgment did something more. It went beyond the specifics of this single case. The judges used this moment to issue a powerful commentary on the broader issue of violence against women, calling for a real change in our collective mindset and an awakening of public opinion on gender justice. And that really leaves us with the final, crucial question. A court can deliver a judgment. It can write down these powerful words. But how does that translate into real, lasting societal change? It's the question that connects the anatomy of justice that we've just explored to the very soul of our society.